guys, good morning. I'm going to give you all a couple of seconds just to join. I hope you're all feeling okay today. Good morning. Good morning. Hi guys. Cool. Good morning. I hope you're all okay. We are starting standing today. Sorry, I know we usually start sat on the mat. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an intro to myself in case you haven't been doing the past couple of classes that I've run with Fit&Well. Good morning guys. So my name's Emily and I run Build and Breathe Pilates, and I founded the company. We do a lot of low impact style Pilates, and that's based on my own experience with chronic pain following spinal fusion surgery. So if you see any movements today where I look a little bit restricted and I can't wiggle as much as you can, it's because I'm literally fused the whole length of my spine. So a little fun fact for today. So we're looking at Pilates for pain management, and we focused on our posture, we focused on our core, and now it's time to look at our lower body. So we're going to be looking at ankle and knee health, we're looking at our hips today, and also some releases for our lower back. So it should be perfect for you guys that have been sat down working from home all day. We'll get some glute strengthening work in there as well. So just before we get started, I want you all to make sure you've got enough room around you and that you're feeling okay. If anything doesn't quite feel right, then you can just adapt it, swap it out, change the movement, doesn't matter at all. I'm going to give a few different levels for each movement as well. There is no pressure to jump up to the top level, just take it at your own level, at your own pace, there's no pressure. So we're going to start by just popping our feet hip width apart. Hands can come up onto our hips, or you can use a chair next to you if that's easiest. And we're just going to take a raise with one heel, plant it back down, and the other leg's coming up. So we're just warming up through our ankles here. Keep on peeling up and down. We're trying to keep our knees tracking over our toes here. So making sure our feet aren't rolling out on all which ways. Keeping them nice and steady, up and down. Lovely guys. Okay, if you want a bit more of a challenge, rather than putting each heel down in between, we're going to come up, then lift the other heel, and then come down. So we're just challenging that balance a little bit more as you come up and down, alternating, pedaling between those feet. Lovely guys. Keep on going. We're going to take this a couple more times, and then we'll add in some more movement for our hips. Lovely. Let's make this one the last one. Coming up, feet planting down. Lovely. You can give your ankles a little bit of a shake off if they need it. They do get quite sore quite quickly. We're going to come into some standing leg lifts. So hips are staying still, pointing forwards, and we're going to test our legs movement within the hip socket. So we're going to pick up our first leg. We're just lifting it out to the side and then bringing it back in. Your leg won't move directly at a 90-degree angle to your body unless you're a ballet dancer. So just follow that natural V line of your pelvis coming out to the side. See if you can get that leg a little bit higher. We're staying on the same leg and we're keeping our torso tall. It's very tempting to lean over with that leg, so try and keep yourself upright and just let that leg move up and down. We're going to take 3 more. Lovely guys. And last one. Also, apologies, I'm a bit bunged up. It's all the hay fever. Go for the other leg. Ugh, I don't know if you guys are getting it as well, but it's just awful this week. Lovely. We're going to take 5 more on this leg. So again, torso nice and tall, hips pointing forwards. Use a wall or a chair if you're feeling off balanced. And we've got 2 more to do. Lovely guys. Once you've done that last one, plant that foot down, give your legs a little shake if they need. And we are staying with our feet hip width apart. We're going to come into some squats. So hands can come down either side of our trousers, and we're just going to squat down, lifting those arms up and pushing back up to standing. So as we squat, this is very glamorous, but we're going to imagine that we're sitting down onto a toilet. So a lovely kind of lean and a sit down and then pull back up. Knees should be tracking over your toes. Lovely, and this should be warming up through your thighs, through your glutes. Getting your knees used to a little bit of weight bearing as well. If you want an extra challenge, we can add in the heel raises here as well. So at the bottom, we can stay with our knees bent, peel the heels up off of the mat, pushing up to the top, and then releasing your heels down. It's a big challenge. See how you go. Makes you very wobbly. If you're doing that, you need to make sure your feet aren't rolling inwards or outwards. We're going to take 3 more squats. Peeling up if you can. Well done. It's a really good balance exercise. Down. Lovely, peeling up. And we've got one last squat to take, with or without those heel raises. That's absolutely fine. Lovely. Once you've done that last one, just reset yourself, bringing your chest up nice and tall. Hands are coming down either side of your trousers. And again, we are just going to take some lunges. So we're keeping our hips forwards. We're going to step one foot back behind us, coming into a lunge. Go as low as you want to, pushing back up. Bring that leg up to the front. Other legs coming out behind us, dipping down into a lunge as low as you want to go. The lower the harder, and coming back up. Coming down, lovely. So we're just keeping alternating between each leg. We're really challenging your knees here because we want them to stay pointing forwards throughout, making sure that they're not drifting side to side, getting some good stability work there. Lovely, guys, keeping going. We've got 2 more left on each leg. So just take these at your own pace, your own height. You don't have to go very low with these lunges at all to start to feel it. Lovely, last 2. Make sure you're nice and evened up. And last one. Perfect, guys. Once you've done that last one, come back up to center, and we're going to come down to the mat. So before we do, I want you all to make sure that you have got a block handy, or a cushion's absolutely fine. You can just use like a sofa cushion. And it would also be amazing if you can find something that you can stretch with. So I've got a lovely long stretchy band, but you can use literally anything, a tea towel, a dressing gown cord, anything. Now's the time to grab it very quickly. And we're going to come down into a seated position. So we're just going to make sure that we're sat nice and upright, that we've got a neutral spine, so we're not hunching forwards, not arching our back. And if you find it difficult to sit in this position, you can just pop a little cushion underneath your bottom here as well. So we're just going to do some deep breaths. This is hard for me today with my hay fever. Oh dear. So we're breathing in, filling up through your belly and through your rib cage, and then pushing back out and breathing in and releasing the air. Keep taking those breaths. Just because I'm come down to the floor, I'm just going to turn those comments off. As much as I love seeing you all popping up. Lovely, here we go. Cool, so keeping taking those nice deep breaths. There we go, you can see me a lot better now. Filling up that rib cage and pushing the air out. We're going to take 2 more of these deep breaths. Trying to breathe in the rib cage rather than the chest. And breathing out. And I want you all to just consciously release your abs. Don't worry about holding them in. No one can see you if you're worried. Release the abs, it's fine. We're going to plant the soles of our feet together for this next movement. Again, you can keep that block underneath your bottom, and also if it helps, you can bring your hands behind you rather than keeping them in front. If your hands are in front, keep them on your ankles, not on your feet. And we're just going to gently prise our knees down towards the floor, so you can bring them up, push them down, up and down. Lovely, so we're just starting to work through our hip joints, starting to open up those hips. Lovely, just trying to reverse that kind of scrunched position that they get into from sitting down at our desks all day. So we're going to do this 3 more times, pushing those knees down. Lovely, once you've done that last one, just hold for a couple seconds extra, and then we'll bring those legs back in. We're going to come up into a high kneeling position, and we're going to come into a lunge. So we're popping 1 foot out in front of us. Your weight should be roughly even open between your front and your back leg. And we're going to do a little combo movement. So if you pop your hands down on the floor either side of that front leg, we're just going to sit our bottom back onto that back heel. If it's comfortable too, you can flex that front foot, and then we're going to lean our chest towards our ankle until we feel a stretch down the back of that hamstring on the straight leg. Hold here for a breath, and then we're going to push ourselves up, coming back into that lunge, and then we're going to lean forwards into that lunge. So weight's coming on that front foot. Again, you can keep your hands down either side of that front leg, just coming down as far as is comfortable, feeling that stretch through the front of the back leg, and then we'll rock back, sitting onto your heels, peeling that foot up into a flex position if it's comfortable, and aiming your chest down towards your ankles. Coming back up and through into that lunge. Keep your chest nice and tall, leaning your body weight onto that front leg, keeping your heel pressed down, even if that means you have to come up out of that lunge a little bit. And then we're rotating back down. And we'll pick up the pace. We've just got 2 more to do. Coming up, back and through. It's a little bit of a coordination challenge, this one as well. And last one, coming down for that stretch. And peeling back up, coming through into that lunge. Lovely, guys. Pick yourself back up into that start position, so even weight distribution between each leg. Let's try a little balance challenge. Try and keep your hands off of the floor, and we'll bring that first leg back in. Other legs coming up, so we're swapping those legs over, and we're going to do that same movement. So we're starting by just rocking our bottom back onto the heel of the back foot, leaning our chest towards the ankle on that straight leg. And if you want to, if you're feeling a bit sadistic today, you can flex that front foot for a bit of extra stretch. Rocking forwards, coming up into that lunge and leaning through, so we're feeling the best stretch we can through the front of that back leg. And then again, we're going to push back, come down into that hamstring stretch, feeling that down the back of your thigh. And then pushing back up and through, coming back through. Really feel that stretch down the front of the back leg. And then we're pushing back again. We're going to take 2 more here. Lovely, guys. Keep on going. Keep that chest nice and tall. And we've got one last one. Leaning backwards, flexing the foot if you fancy. And then coming all the way forwards. Lovely. Leaning into that lunge. Perfect, guys. Bring yourself back up to the top, and then we're going to come down onto our back, and we're going to do some exercises with our legs, looking at our pelvic stability and opening up through our hips again. So just have your head block or cushion and your little stretchy band handy. And we're coming down. Make sure that you're nice and comfortable. If you're finding that your chin tilts back whilst you're on your back, you can just pop a little cushion under your head here. That's just going to keep your neck in a really good aligned position. So we're keeping I keep calling them the palms of the feet, the soles of the feet on the mat. Hands are coming down next to your bottom. We're going to straighten out the first leg towards the end of the mat. When you're ready, we're going to raise that leg up towards the ceiling and then lowering it back down. Picking that leg back up and lowering down. So you should be feeling this through your abs at the front of your core, but we're also really working to strengthen your hip flexor. So this is a muscle that runs from the outside of your hip and connects it to the inside of your thigh. It's the muscle that we were just stretching in our lunges. It gets very tight and stiff when we're sat down all day, and whilst we do want to keep everything nice and flexible, it's also really important to give it a good bit of strength work as well. Keep our muscles nice and strong and healthy. So this is a really lovely one to help support your pelvis. Lovely, guys. We've got 3 more on this leg. Keep on going. We're doing lots of reps today. Going to really fatigue through your hips. And last one. Bring that leg down, folding it back in, and then the other leg's going to straighten out to the end of the mat, and we're repeating that movement, so coming all the way up and floating back down. Don't worry if you can't get your leg all the way up to the ceiling. If you can just bring it up to here and back down, that's absolutely fine, just working to your own level. Lovely, guys, keeping going, lifting that leg up and down. Perfect, guys, keep going. Keep feeling that bit of tension through the front of your core, through your hip flexor at the front of your thigh. Lovely. We've got 3 left to do. Should be really starting to ache by now. Well done. Last one, bringing it up, pointing that leg back down, and then folding that leg back up as well, so the sole of the foot's coming down to the floor. And we're going to just take a little hip flexor stretch. So we'll go first back to the first leg that we did, so straightening that leg back out onto the floor. The other leg's going to bend up into your chest, and you should start to feel a stretch from the outside of your thigh right round to the inside, so all the way through that hip flexor. If you're not quite feeling it, try clenching your bottom under, and that can help push your hips up a little bit and get a deeper stretch. Or you can find your cushion or your headlock and pop that underneath your bottom, and again that's going to have the effect of pushing your hips up and just deepening that stretch a little bit for you. We're going to hold here for about another 30 seconds and then we'll give the other leg a bit of a go. So we've done a lot of hard work on that muscle, and now we're just straight away giving it a nice release, so it should feel really lovely, really relaxing. And we're just taking nice deep breaths whilst we're here. Keep holding, keep squeezing that knee into your chest, clenching your bottom under if you need. Give it a good old squeeze. And holding for the last 10 seconds. Okay, bring that knee back down so the foot's going to plant onto the mat. You're going to bend up the other knee, straighten that foot, the opposite foot, out to the end of the mat, and then your first knee's hugging up into your chest, and we're feeling a stretch on the other hip flexor. So you might need to get rid of the cushion or add it in underneath your bottom, whatever feels good. Each side might be different. And again, you can clench your bottom under if you want that little bit extra. Keep squeezing that knee in towards you, stretching that leg out towards the end of the mat, and taking those nice deep breaths. We've got about 20 seconds left in this hold. Really big deep breaths here. Okay, holding for the last 10 seconds. Squeeze that knee in, stretch the other leg out. Really engaging that stretch. Okay, we're going to come out of this position, so just dropping that knee back down to the floor, bringing your other foot back so the soles of your feet are on the floor, and then we're just going to lift up and whip out those cushions if you were using one. Keeping your feet planted on the floor. Anybody who is using a headlock under their head, just get rid of that for now, because we're going to come up into a bridge, and if there's something under your head as we come up, it's going to cause a little bit of neck strain, so we want to avoid that. So hands are coming down either side of our bottom. Feet are hip width apart on the floor, and we're going to come into this bridge in a beautiful flowing way. So we're going to start by taking a pelvic tilt. So imagine you've got a marble up on your pubic bone, you're going to roll it into your belly button. So we're tilting the pelvis upwards, and then we're going to continue that movement by starting from the lowest vertebrae, peeling up off of the mat until we come into this full bridge position. So it's really important that we're not arching our back here. We're just nice and level with a straight line from our thighs all the way up to our chest. We're going to reverse that movement to come down, so starting at the top of your spine, peeling down to the mat, and finally releasing your pelvic tilt. Keep going with those, so coming up into the bridge, and if you want a bit of extra challenge, at the top you can add a march with each leg. So you can pick up, keeping your hips still, march one foot, and then marching the other, before coming back down. See how you feel. If that's a bit much, just keep with your normal bridges. If you are doing the marches, make sure your feet don't creep into the midpoint of your body as you go. It's very tempting. And coming down. Lovely, guys. Those of you sticking with your normal bridges, just again being conscious not to let those hips rise too far that your back starts to arch. Keeping those nice pelvic tilts going as we come up. Lovely, guys, well done. We're going to take 3 more bridges, whether that's a normal one peeling up, holding at the top, or if you're adding in those marching legs. I'm going to join you in the marching for the last 2, so peeling up, coming to the top, getting those hips nice and lifted, picking up that first leg, dropping it down. Lovely, and the other one. Okay, coming back down, releasing a pelvic tilt. It's really important to do that pelvic tilt before we come up and keep it engaged throughout so that we're not putting any pressure on our lower backs. Lovely, guys. Once you've done that last one, just peel back down to the mat. Release your pelvis, and then if you can grab your little stretchy band or dressing gown cord or whatever you've got handy, we're going to loop up our first foot around the arch of your foot, straightening out that leg at the knee, and then bring that leg in towards you until you feel a stretch down the back of your hamstring. So the other foot's staying planted on the floor, and we're just holding that leg in, using the band as a bit of extra resistance. If you start to feel any cramp, you can point the toe. I want you to make sure that your bum cheeks are staying on the floor so you're not lifting up to get that leg a little bit higher. And it's really, really important that those knees stay straight. And we're going to take this opportunity to have some nice deep breaths again. So just breathing in, filling up your belly with air, and then pushing the air back out. Breathing in, and pushing back out. There's lots of things we can do to make this stretch a little bit more effective. And if we are using a bit of resistance like the band, we can start to think about relaxing our quads. So these are the muscles that are sitting on the front of our thigh. And when they're engaged, they're effectively pushing our leg away from our body. So they're not helping our passive stretch. So if you just give them a little prod, get them to relax a little bit, you might find that you can bring that leg even closer towards you for that stretch. So see how that feels. Obviously still keeping that knee nice and straight, so you need a little bit of work going through your quads to help with that. And we're going to hold for about 30 more seconds here. So as your leg's been in this position, it might have started to warm up. That muscle's getting a little bit stretchier. So you can usually ease a tiny bit more out of that muscle, get it a bit closer towards you. Again, only if it's comfortable. Just taking this at your own pace. And we're holding for the last 20 seconds here. Make sure those knees are straight. Check in with yourselves. Okay, when you're ready, we're going to swap those legs over. If you're feeling ambitious, you can do a mid-air swap. Otherwise, bring that leg down and re-loop the other leg. If you're joining me in a mid-air swap, you can pop the other leg up and then bring the first one down. Again, we are keeping that knee nice and straight, and then we're bringing the leg in towards us until we feel a stretch down the back of our thigh. Get your leg into that nice stretchy position, and again, if you start to feel any cramp, point that toe and it's going to help. Flexing your foot in these stretches is a little bit sadistic, like the one we did earlier, so Up to you if you love it, if you love that feeling. And again, we can have a think about relaxing our quads. So that hunk of muscle on the front of your leg, maybe just give it a little massage, asking it to relax. We want to eventually train that mind to muscle connection, but for now we can just give it a prod, get those muscles to switch off, and then see if you can bring the leg closer towards you as a result. Just keeping those nice deep breaths going. We've got about a minute left here, so we're giving each leg a full 2 minutes to stretch. And the reason we do that is a lot of lower back pain can be referred from tight hamstrings or loose, weak glutes as well. So that's why we're doing a lot of glute work, a lot of work to loosen up our hamstrings. And it should all help contribute to healthier and happier lower backs. Nice deep breaths here. Last 30 seconds. See if you can ease that leg in slightly closer towards you as that muscle's getting used to the stretch. Nice deep breaths. Keep those knees nice and straight. And we're here for the last 10 seconds. Okay, when you're ready, we're going to de-loop that leg. So please be careful not to give yourself a black eye as you bring that loop back, bringing that leg back to the floor. We're keeping the soles of the feet planted. And again, if you needed anything under your head, if your chin's tilting upwards whilst you're on the floor, do put a little cushion in place behind your head. Hands are staying down by our bottoms. Knees are coming together and feet are coming together. And we're going to drop our knees over to one side. Our hips are going to lift. Shoulder blades are staying on the floor, and you should feel a lovely stretch for your lower spine. Bring those knees back up to the top, and then we'll flop them over to the other side. Again, keeping your shoulder blades down, pinned to the floor. So last week we were focusing on our tummy muscles throughout this movement, so how our core engages to help bring those knees back up to the centre. This week I want you to think of it in the same way, so still using the same technique to get those knees back up to the top, but frame this exercise more as a release for your lower back rather than as a hard ab exercise. So just think about how it feels through your lower spine, through your hips. Does it feel nice to have that weight moving from side to side, easing through your lower back? Don't worry if your knees aren't coming all the way to the floor. Because of my fusion, where my shoulder blades need to stay on the floor, I can't actually get my knees all the way down at all. So it's just about listening to your body, seeing what feels best, seeing how your body wants to move. Lovely, guys. We're going to take 2 more on each side. Lovely, keeping going. And once you've done this last one, we're going to come over onto our side. So bring those knees back up to centre and then roll yourself over. We're going to need our headlock for this next one. So if you don't have a block like my one, you can just use a cushion, as we said earlier. Popping your head down onto your block. Bottom hand's going to come up across your chest, so that elbow's lifted off the floor. Top hand's coming onto the floor in front of you for a little bit of balance. And we're going to straighten our legs out towards the end of the mat. We're going to start by making sure our hips are pointing up to the ceiling, and then we're going to bring that top leg, we're going to point the toe, and we're going to draw the toe up the inside of the bottom leg. Only as far as you can before your hips want to roll back. Then we're going to extend the leg up towards the ceiling and bring it back down to the start position. If your leg doesn't move as far as mine, if you're coming kind of up to your ankle, extending and back down, that's perfect. Just working to what feels best. Peeling that leg up, extending up towards the ceiling, and then coming back down. If you're feeling like you're quite balanced here, you can maybe start to come up onto tips of your fingers or hover that hand up off of the floor. See how you feel. That's only if you're not rocking back as that leg rises up. We're just taking 2 more, so making this next one your last one. Lovely. Bring that leg back down. And then if you need to, you can just hug your knees up into your chest. Give your glutes and your thighs a little bit of a break. And then we're going to straighten them back out again towards the end of the mat. Get your hands back in that supportive position, elbow lifted, hand down on the floor in front. We're going to lift that top leg up to hip height, and we're going to hold it there throughout this whole exercise. The bottom leg is going to come up to meet the top one, squeeze them together, and then release it back down. Lifting and squeezing and coming back down. It's a really weird movement. It's not one that we tend to do. Oopsie, I'm rolling over. It's not one we tend to do in everyday life. It's working the inside of that bottom thigh. Make sure that the top leg is at hip height only. It's not kind of rising up, or you're going to give yourself a real challenge to meet it with the bottom leg. Lovely, guys. Let's do 3 more. Squeezing up and releasing and squeezing and releasing. Well done. Last one. Squeeze, release, and you can bring those legs in again. Just give your glutes that little break. And we're going to straighten them back out for the last exercise we're doing on our side. It's a bit of a meaty one. Again, elbows off, hands down on the floor, top legs coming back up to hip height. And we're going to start to draw little circles. The circles are going back away from our body towards the back of the room. Just start small, and then if you want to, you can go a little bit bigger. It's going to start to challenge your balance the bigger the circle you draw, so making sure those hips are staying pointing up to the ceiling and your core's engaging to stop yourself from rolling around too much. Let's take 4 more circles. These should be really aching through your glutes right now. Well done, guys. Oh, once you've done that last one, make it a big one. Bend your knees up into your chest. Give your poor glutes a little bit of a break, and we're going to flip straight over onto the other side, and we're going to do those same few movements on the other leg. So again, popping your headlock down at the top of your mat, bringing your head so it's nice and rested, bottom arms coming up across your chest, elbows lifted off the floor, top arms down on the floor in front of you, and legs are straightening out towards the end of the mat. We're going to start with those bicycle legs, so we're drawing the inside of that bottom thigh. We're drawing that top leg all the way up as far as we can go, straightening that leg up towards the ceiling and coming back down nice and straight. Again, hips are staying pointing up towards the ceiling. See how you feel. Coming up and down. Don't worry about the angle that your leg's going to. If it's, as I said earlier, if it's just up to your ankle, up and down, that's perfect. If you're finding it really easy to balance, you can come up onto tips of your fingers or even hover that hand off of the floor. See how you feel. Coming up and down. Lovely, guys. Let's take 3 more. Coming all the way up. And down. Lovely, guys. Well done. Peeling up. And last one. Peeling up. Stretching and down. Well done. You can bring your knees up into your chest. Give your glutes that little bit of a break. And then we're straightening those legs back out. Arms are coming back to that supportive position. Top leg's lifting up to hip height. And the bottom leg is going to come up, meet the top leg for a squeeze, and then release back down. Bringing it up, squeezing and releasing. You should be feeling this on the inside of your thigh, but also through your obliques at the side there. It's really hard, meaty work. Well done, guys. Keeping going. We've got 4 more. Squeeze and release. And squeeze. Well done. Last 2. Squeezing up. And last one. Really squeeze, releasing. Bring those knees up into your chest. Give yourself a little rest. And then we've got one last exercise to do on this side. So we're coming back with our arms, elbow lifted on that bottom arm, Top arms on the floor, straight legs out towards the end of the mat. Top legs coming up to hip height, so this is the real killer. And then we're starting with some more circles going towards the back of our body. Lovely, and see if you can take them a little bit bigger as you go. See how you feel, again checking that your hips are not rolling backwards. So if you are feeling a bit too stable, you can come up onto tips of your fingers, hover that hand off, just making sure that those hips are staying pointing upwards throughout. Lovely, keep on going. Oh, this is starting to burn. Let's take 3 more circles, making them a little bit bigger for the last ones. Well done. And bring those knees back up into your chest. Give your glutes a break. Really well done. We're going to come over onto our front. Whew, dear, that was hard. Got a little bit more glute work to do before I let you all go. It's really good to improve our glutes because they just improve so much function through our walking, sitting up, sitting down. They're really good to act as a base for our spine as well. So we love our glutes. We love to build lots of strength for more reasons than just having a peachy bottom. So we're coming up onto all fours. And when we're on all fours, we want to make sure that our wrists are underneath our shoulders. Our knees are underneath our hips. And we're going to straighten one leg out towards the end of the mat. I would choose the leg that we haven't just worked. Be wise. We're going to pick that leg up off of the floor. Think length rather than height. So stretch from the tips of your toes. We're going to tap that leg across our body down onto the floor, bringing it back to the midpoint and then out to the side and tapping it again on the floor. Lifting the leg, tapping across your body and lifting and tapping on the outside. Keeping going. This is really good work through your hips, and it should also be getting your hamstrings at the back of your thigh because we're keeping that leg nice and straight. Your hamstrings doing all of the work to lift that leg. We're going to take 2 more in each direction, tapping and tapping. Well done guys, keep on going. Tapping and tapping, well done. Bring that leg back in and the other leg's going to straighten out to the end of the mat. Lifting off the floor, lengthening through the tips of the toes, and then we're tapping across the body and tapping back out. I want you to make sure your hips are staying level, so imagine you've got your favourite drink resting on your hips. You don't want it to spill over. Lovely guys, keeping going. Let's do 2 more in each direction, across the body and out to the side. Lovely. Once you've done that last one, bring that leg in. We're going to sit down onto our heels for a second and just stretch our hands out towards the end of the mat. So coming into this lovely child's pose, sitting your heels down onto your bottom and stretching from the tips of your fingers. Nice deep breaths here. And then when you're ready, we're just going to come back and we're going to pop our belly onto the mat. I want you to just rest your head on your hands in front of you. And then we're going to take our left leg and we're going to bend it at the knee up towards our body. If you're comfortable too, we can then take the left hand, rotate it around behind us and grab the ankle and just pull that leg in ever so slightly further towards us. And you should feel a lovely stretch down the front of that leg. If you've got sore knees, just release that angle a little bit, see how you feel. And we're going to hold here for about 20 more seconds. Feeling that stretch through your quads. Nice deep breaths. Lovely guys, keeping holding. And when you're ready, we're going to swap the legs over. So if you just release that left leg down to the floor, bring the left hand out in front of you. We can swap your gaze over to the other side. The right leg's going to bend up at the knee And the right hand, if you're comfortable to, is going to come round and hold that leg in a little bit closer towards you. So you're feeling the stretch down the front of your quads again. And anybody with sore knees, just be careful. Maybe you need to hold that knee a little bit further away, or just release the grip with your hand. And again, we're holding here for about 20 more seconds. Keep feeling that stretch through your quads. If you aren't feeling it very much, you can clench your bottom, and that usually helps. Nice deep breaths here. Okay guys, we're going to release that leg, bring your arm back round to the front, and we're going to do a little lower body twist. So I want you to take your left arm, pop it out to the side, right hand staying tucked in front of you, and we're going to again look towards that right elbow with our face. Our left leg is going to bend at the knee, it's going to lift off the floor, and it's going to come, oh no sorry, it's the right leg is going to bend at the knee, lifting off the floor, and it's going to come across our body over to the opposite side, and you should feel a lovely twist through your lower spine. So we're twisting towards that outstretched arm, taking some nice deep breaths whilst you're here. And again, we'll hold for about 20 seconds, and then we'll swap to the other side. Your hips are going to lift off the floor as you do this one, so that's absolutely fine. Try and keep your chest towards the floor if you can. Again, this is one with my fusion that I just won't be as bendy as you guys. Keeping holding. And when you're ready, we're just going to bring that knee back down to the floor. We're swapping our arms over, so left arm's tucking under our head. Right arm's outstretched to the side, and we're looking towards the left elbow. This time the left knee's bending, and we're going to bring that left leg over the top of our body. Tummy's lifting off the floor, but we're trying to keep the chest pointing towards the mat. And we're just getting that lovely twist again through our lower back there. Keep taking nice deep breaths, and we're holding for another 20 seconds. So just breathing gently, filling up your rib cage, enjoying that stretch through your lower spine. Okay, when you're ready, we're just going to carefully come out of that position, bring that knee back down to the floor. If you want to just push yourself back up into a seated position, please take your time, let your blood pressure reset. We've been down on the floor for some time, so if you're seeing any popping lights, just take a couple breaths, let yourself reset. We're going to come up so that one leg is bent up in front of us and the other leg is planted flat on the floor. We're going to take a twist so that our chest is coming towards that knee, using your hands however feels best to just support yourself here. And then if you want to, you can take the opposite arm, cross it over that leg, and just take a deeper twist through your spine. And this is a lovely release, and we'll just hold it for about 20 seconds again, and then we'll swap to the other side. This is one you can be doing throughout the day during your work, just to give your back a little bit of attention. Okay guys, we're going to unhook that arm if you crossed over that leg, and we're going to rotate back round to the front. We're going to swap our legs over, so bringing the bent leg out so that the sole's planted on the floor. The opposite leg's just going to tuck under, and then we're rotating our torso towards that bent knee, using a hand behind you to help you come round. And if it's comfortable too, the opposite arm can cross over that front knee and just help you to pull round a little bit further. Taking some nice deep breaths here. And we're holding for our last 20 seconds. Keep your chest nice and tall, and think about those big breaths that you're taking through your rib cage. you're ready, we're going to rotate back to the front. So just unhooking your arms, bringing yourself back to the center, and you can cross your legs over or just stay seated up on your heels, whatever feels best, keeping your chest nice and tall. And we're just going to take some nice deep breaths in to finish. So when you're ready, we're going to breathe in, we're going to shrug the shoulders up, and we're going to release. And another one, breathing in and up, and releasing, and another one, last big breath, shrugging those shoulders up and releasing. You can have a little shimmy and we're all done. So I hope that was all okay. You're going to really feel it in your glutes and your thighs tomorrow, but I hope also your lower back feels nice and mobile. So that's what we're aiming for. If you wanted any more, I'm over on my channel at Build Breathe Pilates. I post lots of little workouts up there, lots of inspiration for you to crack on with. And I'll be back next week for our final part of pain management Pilates, and it's just going to be a 45-minute stretch class, top to toe. Will get you feeling 10 inches taller. It's going to be really lovely. So I will see you all next week, hopefully. I will save this up to the Fit&Well Instagram TV now, so you'll be able to access this later if you want as well. So thank you so much for joining, guys. I'll see you later. Thank you.